If you're good at swinging your hands, you can pretty much hit a 6 in cricket and a home run in baseball. Similarly, if you choose any of R or Python, you can pick up the other one pretty easily. Now, yes, this is an overgeneralization, but I guess you get the drift. Hello, this is Ashish Gourav. I have done my B.Tech from IIT Kharagpur and Masters from ISI Kolkata, and I work as a data science consultant at a Big Four. If you must remember just one thing from this video, choose any one of R or Python and you are good to go. So what are the basic tasks which you should be comfortable with so that you are well prepared for a data science interview? So I have written down all the points so that I don't deviate away from my train of thoughts. The first is import an Excel or a CSV into RStudio or a Jupyter notebook. Now this is important because most of your data science activity will start from importing a file, importing data. So you must know how to get data into your RStudio if you are using R and Jupyter notebook if you are using Python. Now the reason I am talking about RStudio and Jupyter Notebook is because these are the most common platforms for using R and Python. So if you are using some other platform, you will have to find a parallel for that as well. Now, what is the next thing? The moment you get data into your RStudio or Jupyter Notebook, you must be in the position to describe the data, the dimension of the data, the number of columns, number of rows, and what essentially the data is telling you about. So you also have to have some kind of a summary for all the rows and all the columns. Now the thing over here is, in specific scenarios you don't need to worry about the rows because rows are just the observations, but you have to know what are the columns actually, what do they mean, what is the data type of individual columns, because that is the meat of the data. And you must be comfortable with performing everything which you can do pretty easily in Excel in R or Python, like filtering, selecting columns, and then also adding and deleting rows and columns. Now how do we do these things? So I have made few videos on R and Python, elementary tasks on R and Python. So you can check out those tutorials from the description box of this video, or else you can also refer to other videos on YouTube or other blogs. I am not restricting you to access only my channel. You are free to search whatever you want to search about, but the key message here is you must be able to do all the basic Excel tasks which you can do pretty easily in R and Python as well, because that will give you a good way to visualize the data for your further data pre-processing or data analysis tasks. So let's say you have a data and you have two columns, a column X and a column Y. So how to plot a scatter plot or a scatter chart? That should come very easily to you in R or Python. Now, what is the next logical step to this? If you are drawing scatter plots, people will ask you, do you know linear regression? So you should be comfortable with that too, how to implement linear regression in R or Python. Now, if you are making linear regression, obviously you will have to understand what is the correlation between different variables or different columns in the data. So you also must know how to draw correlation matrices, so as to understand which are the correlated and uncorrelated variables, loosely speaking. Now, what is the next logical step? If you have performed so much with your data, you have rather modified the data. So how do I export that modified data? And let's say you have done a lot of analysis and created your own new data. So how do you export that data out of your RStudio or Jupyter notebook? So that is something which you must know, how to get data in Excel, CSV or any format out of the RStudio or Python Jupyter notebook. Now if you know these things, you are pretty much going to ace your interviews if the interview goes towards the technical side of R Python for data science. Now you don't have to become a robot and remember the exact commands and syntax for all the tasks which I've described. You just need to be able to explain the flow of your thoughts, or essentially you have to show your confidence that you can implement these things. And yes, if you are remembering the commands and those things come natural to you, good for you. So this is the essence of the whole data science interview, that you must be able to do basic data pre-processing and statistical analysis with your data. That is the idea of any R or Python data science interview. Now we come to the bonus tip. Now, what is the bonus tip? Make a R or Python project, a simple data science project in R or Python, and try to slide it in your interview the moment you get a chance. You might not get a direct question from the interviewer that have you done any project in R or Python, but you have to be smart and somehow put your project into the picture, somehow describe it, like I have also done this, I have done this in R or Python, something like that. So let me give you an example. While I was doing an internship in the year 2019, I had written a Python code to predict the semi-finalists of the World Cup. Now, yes, accuracy was not my priority, but my priority was that that Python code must be working so that it gives me 4 semi-finalists. Now that gave me a lot of happiness and confidence. So whenever I have a chance, I slide that into conversations that I have done this in R and Python. Now you can do a similar project. Now it does not have to be a very sophisticated machine learning or AI application in R or Python. Just find something in your daily life which you feel that you can convert that into a data science project in R or Python, right? And make a simple toy project, and that type project will be a talking point for any data science interview which has R Python dimensions into it. And that will also give you a lot of confidence in R Python coding, because ultimately coding is way similar to painting, drawing, or even solving maths. You get better at it with a lot of practice. I hope you found this video useful. If so, do hit the like. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, because in this channel you will find content related to data science, finance, economics, mathematics, and any kind of knowledge.